up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me
Into
that.
the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Check. Think we good now. We back with another episode of Corner to Copa. It's been quiet on the free agent front for the Detroit Tigers. We made a couple moves, but still a lot of talent out there left in the free agency for a lot of teams to work through. The Tigers usually do most of their damage after before the new year, around Christmas time and before that time. But hopefully that trend will change. And I was just kind of bored trying to think of how else the team can improve, how we can put our best foot forward in this year. That is the expiring contract of Tarek Skubal. So a name that I have seen thrown out there a little bit is a guy that is a former All-Star, a frontline starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who's now a free agent, and he goes by the name of Zach Gallen. And I think, just the Tigers. The one thing that the Tigers, Kenley Jansen talked about it. We were just a pitcher or two short. We had a lot of injuries and we fell apart and we just ran out of arms. This is a player that has some ace level potential. He's 30 years old, but he has the potential to possibly take over as the ace if Tarek Skubal leaves. And I think he would completely round out our pitching rotation. Obviously, as of right now, we got Skubal, we got Flaherty, we got Olsen and Mize, and then we have a number of guys that could be the number 5 starter. Oh, Melton as well. But we don't know, as far as Flaherty is concerned. He's coming off a rough year. He opted into his contract because he knew that he could not get $20 million anywhere else. So we really don't know what to make of that. Although I think he's projected to have the highest WAR amongst starting pitching outside of Tarek Skubal. But outside of that, Mize had a pretty good year, but tough to say whether or not he can duplicate that. And Reese Olson has been hurt every year. Melton is another guy that has the potential to be a high end rotational guy, but he will be coming into his first full year of action. And Olsen has yet to pitch a full year. So a guy like Zach Gallen, especially at the price that you might get him, will be a nice guy to take over, especially if we end up trading Skubal at the deadline or just lose him for nothing, which would be unfortunate. But that's also something that we could be faced with. So let's pull up Zach Gallen's Savant page here. This guy is an innings eater. He was an all-star in 2023, and his probably his best year was in 2022, where he was a 5 wins above replacement, a 5 WAR player. Now, the projected salary that we would be getting Zach Gallen at would be he would be making on a short-term deal. He'd be making anywhere from $20 to $27 million. And I think they said, 2 years, $45 to $54 million on the short term, well, with a potential opt-out. Now, the opt-out would likely be because he's coming off a rough year. As you can see, he's not a savant darling in this past year. He was a guy that could have possibly been dangled in free agency or at the deadline, but they chose not to do that. But yeah, he's not coming off a great year. Um, the whiff rate, the K rate, um, that he had in years past, did not come through in this past year. But he kept the ball on the ground, and that extension at 6'2" made that fastball play up a little bit better. He's an innings eater though. um, 33 appearances in 2025, 28 in 2024, 34 in 2023. So he hasn't really dealt with the injuries too bad. He's got a wide, a wide pitch mix, but he got beat up pretty good. He still had one was in the teens in the last 3 years. 13 wins, 14 wins, 17 wins, and I want to say he was in the teens prior to that as well. Like I said, 23 in 2023 he was an all-star. In 2022 he was a 5 wins above a replacement player. So this is a consistent player, um, who eats a lot of innings, is going to win you some games, but he had a pretty rough year last year. I think everybody on Arizona, pitching wise, struggled last year. Obviously, the bats were pretty good. They had Naylor, they had Suarez, they had some guys. Oh, and then Paradomo. They had a lot of guys that hit very well. They scored a ton of runs, but the pitching just did not show up for him. His ERA was 4.83. He was probably the benefit of the fact that they did score a lot of runs for him. But so yeah, this is a guy that you can get in the short term, to be a high end starter. And his hopes would be that he can have a good season wherever he goes, opt out, and get the big bucks, because that's kind of where where his potential lands him at the age of 30, where you know he's he's got to get to a bag soon. He didn't play well in his contract year, but I think he can still get it. Now let's look back at the his savant the advanced analytics from the year prior. As you can see, the K rate was much higher. The ground ball and extension consistent there. 2023, this is the year, his All Star year. K rate high, threw a ton of strikes. 2022, when he was a 5 WAR player, through the charts. Unfortunately, these weren't years that he was able where he was up for a contract, because he would have made a crazy amount of money. It's just unfortunate that when it was time, when he came into his contract year, he struggled. But I I like how he would play, um, as a Detroit. I like the potential of having him as a Detroit Tiger, in the fact that with us having so many durability issues outside of Flaherty and Scooble, he would give us some stability for sure. He's a veteran guy. He's got experience. The Diamondbacks won the World Series a couple years ago, and I would have to assume that he was a good instrumental part of that. But look at that. 210 innings pitched in 2023, 17-9 season, sub 4 ERA. Super solid. But yeah, he it's a guy that I'm seeing his name is floating around a little bit, for us. I have no idea if Scott Harris is interested in adding anybody else to the starting pitching staff. With us having a solid five: Scooble, Flaherty, Olson, Mize, and Melton, with Jackson Job waiting in the wings. Um, we're kind of full there, and that's not even mentioning Kiter Montero. That's not even mentioning the guy that we signed, Anderson, that we signed from the KBO. So we're kind of stacked at that starting pitching position, but um, long term, we only have Scooble for another year. Flaherty will be coming off the books as well. So Reese Olson, has the potential to be a SB1 or SP2, but he doesn't stay healthy. I mean, I mean, the analytics suggest that he, could be the predecessor. S-O-N. Reese Olson. Yeah. I mean, yeah, his ERA has been under 4 all every year. Chase rate, whiff rate high. He avoids barrels. The potential is there, but he stays on the injury list a lot more than you would like from a starting pitcher. So, but yeah, didn't have a whole lot to say about Zach Gallen. I guess I can share for you right here, which displays. Take that down. Multi-year deal for 20 to 27 million. Says depending on his 2025 performance and team interest, teams like the Cubs and Angels mentioned as suitors, his contract will likely reflect a balance between a Cy Young caliber peak in 2023, which I talked about, and somewhat less dominant in 2025. So that's kind of what he's wrestling with. He's not likely gonna get that long. He's not gonna sign that long-term deal because his asking price will be a lot lower. He could ask for a lot more in a short term and hope that a bounce back season in 2026 will yield the top dollar that he probably deserves. So it's a nice buy low candidate for us if we decide, if he decides to opt out and go and get the big bucks. We can always invest or hopefully we see more potential in Job and Melton and Olson to invest in our homegrown guys. So, but I like what Gallen can bring to us in the short term and, keeping our floor high and competing in the now. So I'll wrap it up. We'll have a lot more profiles coming up. I still got some more prospects to do, and maybe we'll bring you some more potential free agent profiles as well. Subscribe to the channel. Bleachers to Speakers, Corner to Copa. It's quiet right now, so not much to talk about. Any minute now, there could be some more action. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's your boy Foster Child. I'm out.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your